Welcome to episode number 4 of stocks that Ark Invest think will at least double over the next couple of years. Today we're going to talk about Proto Labs, stock ticker symbol PRLB. Ark Invest currently owns more than $500 million in this company alone. They've been increasing their position as of lately. On top of Ark Invest and Cathie Wood, billionaire investor and venture capitalist Chamath Palihapitiya, he has also been heavily invested in the 3D printing space as well. Proto Labs isn't just a 3D printing company, however, they have a lot of advantages to their company and they have a lot of potential growth moving forward. So in today's video, I'm first going to break down exactly what Proto Labs does, what makes them stand out from their competition. After that, I'm going to go over why Ark Invest is currently invested in them, how much money they have invested, and where they see the stock going over the next couple of years. And finally, at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my take on exactly what is going on with Proto Labs, where I see it, and what I'm doing with my positions right now. For those of you who are new here, my name is Michael. I'm a 21-year-old investor, entrepreneur, and full-time college student. The past 30 days, I've made over $175,000, one of the many investment accounts that I share with you in our private group on Patreon. So if you'd like to know more about what stocks I'm buying and what stocks I'm selling in our $575,000 public investing account, if you want exclusive content that I don't share on YouTube, and if you want pre-release access to my new show called The Stock Room, where I talk about stocks with my 80-year-old friend who's a millionaire investor and entrepreneur, well then make sure to join our group using the link down below. We only have a couple of spots left and there may not be any new openings. So anyways, let's talk about Proto Labs. Proto Labs is a very strong play in the next generation manufacturing, in additive manufacturing, and 3D printing. They're one of the leading players in this industry, and they're focused specifically on digital manufacturing, 3D printing, and CNC machining. And on top of this, Proto Labs is in a fast-growing industry. Currently, the 3D printing and additive manufacturing industry is valued at $11 billion, around $11 to $12 billion. And the CEO of Desktop Metal, another 3D printing company, believes that the sector will grow to $146 billion this decade. He believes the 3D printing space is going to be over $100 billion industry. Currently, Proto Labs' market cap is sitting right around $4 billion. And for this industry right now, there are a lot of companies that are valued much around the same price. However, the one thing I really like about Proto Labs is that they're actually generating a significant amount of revenue compared to all of their competitors. Over the last couple of years, their revenue has been increasing at a steady rate. You can see here that each year, their revenue has been increasing. In 2010, they were generating $64 million in revenue, and in the 2019 year, they generated $458.7 million. So they are generating a significant amount of revenue. And this is actually important to point out because many of their competitors like Desktop Metal are generating significantly less revenue right now. While they do have a strong outlook moving forward, the thing that is really good about Proto Labs is that they're already a very established business that is already generating significant amount of revenue, over $500 million in revenue every single year. On top of this, so looking at Proto Labs, the company is successfully capitalizing on digital technologies like e-commerce to help expand its market. Proto Labs' digital manufacturing model is far more resilient in the current environment as it is less impacted by social distancing measures than other businesses. Also, recently, Proto Labs announced Proto Labs 2.0, which is expected to bolster the company's e-commerce platform and back-end systems, help for growth long-term. They announced this early in 2020, and it has been going very well. Successfully capitalizing on digital technologies, Proto Labs is involved in some of the most promising manufacturing of the future with 3D printing and additive manufacturing. Currently, a lot of companies are starting to look towards 3D printing as the technology is now widely available and much easier and cheaper to use than it was in years past. The company's investments into 3D printing, in particular, set it apart from the vast majority of other manufacturing companies. If you're looking at most manufacturing companies right now that are generating similar revenue numbers to Proto Labs, they don't do any 3D printing, they don't have any investments in 3D printing, and Proto Labs, that is where they are looking towards for the future. Companies like Desktop Metal, they're also looking at 3D printing, but right now, Proto Labs is far ahead of them. They're generating much more revenue, and they are a much more secure business. However, there are a couple of challenges that you need to be aware of if you're invested in Proto Labs or if you're looking to invest in them. Because Proto Labs' involvement in 3D printing does not come without its risks. 3D printing, while it is very positive for the future of manufacturing companies, it looks like it's going to be the avenue that many companies take for manufacturing their products. Is still in its early stages in the fact that many companies don't use 3D printing. 3D printing will help companies reduce costs, be more efficient, be more green and sustainable because they use electricity versus fossil fuels. So all of that is good for 3D printing moving forward. However, still 3D printing is still in its early stages in large volume manufacturing. Chamath Palihapitiya recently came out and explained how he thinks 3D printing is going to change manufacturing industry as a whole. He's made large investments into them, especially because of the environmental and climate change effects that 3D printing will have, because they're much better for the environment than fossil fuels. But still, we need to make sure that you know right now it's still very early on. It could take years for these businesses to mature and generate billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars in revenue, while the CEO of Desktop Metal does see the industry at $142 billion in the next decade. That is a 10-year outlook that you just have to be aware of. But moving forward, looking at Ark Invest, what they're currently doing. Ark Invest currently owns about $508 million of Protolabs in their ARKK ETF. It is in their top 10 holdings in this ETF, and they also own it in a couple of other ETFs they run as well. Total, they have about $550 million. That's important to note because any stock that Ark Invest puts money into, they believe will at least double over the next couple of years. They say they are expecting a minimum rate of return of any stock in this portfolio of at least 15% with a goal of 20% a year. So that is a good sign. They have been increasing their position lately in this company because 3D printing is looking to be a major trend over the next 5 to 10 years. And finally, let's talk about what I think about the company moving forward. So what I really like about Protolabs versus other 3D printing companies is that Protolabs is generating a significant amount of revenue already. They're not an early stage startup that is very risky. They do have their risks, but they are already generating close to $500 million in revenue every single year, and their market cap is sitting right around $4.5 billion. Compared to companies like Desktop Metal, who has a very high market cap but is generating very low revenues, I think it's a much safer investment than Desktop Metal. While they both have different target markets, their goals are to do different things. I think Protolabs is definitely a good investment, a smart investment moving forward. If you don't want to invest directly in the company, you could invest into ETF that holds them like ARKK. ARKK's invested in them. 2.8% of their portfolio is in Proto Labs. So that's an option if you don't want to invest directly in them. But either way, if you have a long-term outlook, this company is definitely going to be a winner moving forward, according to Ark Invest and Chamath, who believes that 3D printing is going to be a major trend moving forward. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. That's just episode number 4 of stocks that Ark Invest think will double over the next couple of years. Don't forget to get your 4 free stocks, each valued up to $1,600, when you download the Webull investing app using the link down below. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.